Hi everyone, my name is Paul, and today I'm going to be doing unboxings and overviews of two Corsair cases. These are 600Ts, and there's a few different 600Ts that are out there, so just to be more specific, on my left is the CC600TM. That's the model number for this one. It is black and gray, the Corsair Graphite series, and it has a side panel that I will show you once I get out of the box. We also have the CC600T WM-WHT, which is the white version, and this comes with both a mesh side panel as well as a windowed side panel. And a quick rundown of specs. These are 23.3 inches by 10.4 by 20 inches. They are steel structure with molded ABS plastic. This one again is graphite gray and black. Actually, we have a gray black one and a white one. We have 4 5¼ inch bays, 6 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch drive caddies, 2 200mm fans, 1 120mm fan, 8 PCI expansion slots, supports ATX and micro ATX motherboards. We have 2 USB 2.0 ports, even though it says 4. We also have USB 3.0. I'm sorry, no, we do have 4 USB 2.0 ports. I'm thinking of the 650. 4 USB 2.0 ports, 1 USB 3.0 port, 1 FireWire, 1 headphone, 1 mic, and a 4-channel fan controller. And now we have unboxed, so I messed that up. That's all right. Here's the gray and black one, and there's the white one. Let's get out the Lazy Susan. So here's a look at our gray case, and I'm going to just quickly spin it around while I talk about the features. And I know I talk about this a lot, but I love dust filters, especially when they're easily removable. So here on the front, we have a dust filter. It pops easily on and off. Behind that, we have our first 200mm fan. That is an LED fan as well. The dust filter easily removes and reattaches just like that. We also have lots of tape or plastic around here to protect the case. I'm not going to remove all of this because it's really all in here, but just bear that in mind as far as the look of it right now. Here are our 4 5¼ inch bays up on the front. The entire thing is mesh grill, so it has plenty of airflow. Here on the left side of the case, we can see that it attaches with these handles here, and for the 600T second run version, they actually have this nice grill here. You can mount up to 4 120mm fans right to that mesh grill. Around here on the back, we can see, well, the back of the case. There's our 120mm exhaust fan, knockout for inputs and outputs, a couple grommets here for water cooling hoses or for routing cables. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 PCI Express slots there. One of these has a little knockout there for routing a cable because you probably will want to do that for your USB 3.0 pass-through. Power supply mount is down there at the bottom. Here's the opposite side of the case, pretty simple on this side, but again we have the latches up here for easy removal. While I'm back here, I can talk about our cable management area. So plenty of space here behind the motherboard for cable management. We can see a few of our wires. This little grip of wires up here is for the fan controller that's up on top of the case. You got your Molex plug. Really big CPU knockout here for the back plate of an aftermarket CPU heatsink fan. Plenty of grommeted holes here for cable management, both for the power supply as well as all up and down the motherboard, as well as even for your optical bays up there. Here are all your front panel cables. They're currently wired back up here to make the inside look nicer, but you got your HD audio, 1394 front panel, and a couple USB ports. Also AC97 audio. Here is the business end of your 3.5 inch bays. That's where you'll do the connecting. And let me just put that back on so we can go, hey, we're back to the front. And next up, let's take a closer look at the top of the case. First off, we have our 4 USB 2.0 ports right there. We also have a headphone and a microphone jack. We have our fan controller knob right there, which you turn to control your fan speeds that are connected to that controller. You also have a FireWire and a USB 3.0 super speed port, a hard drive activity light, and then right up here is your power button, and that will light up when the power is on. You also have a reset button right there. Up here at the other area of the top of the case, you have a very large removable grill. So again, easy to remove, easy to clean that grill out. Underneath that grill, we have our 200 millimeter fan. Again, this is a white LED fan. And here, not only do you have the mounting points for that 200 millimeter, but you also have mounting points for two 120 millimeter fans right there. So what you can do, if you're interested in water cooling, is you can remove that 200 millimeter fan. You can mount a 240 millimeter radiator right underneath this grill. You can put your radiator fans right on top, and then you can have a nice big radiator set up in there. You also have a barrel lock right there, and that will lock the side panel of the case so it can't be opened. And here's a look at the bottom of the case before we move on to the interior. We can see some very large size rubberized feet for the case. That's to protect the surface you have it set on, as well as to reduce vibration. Finally, rounding out our fan filters, we have another removable filter right here below the power supply mount, so you can easily clean out your power supply dust filter. And now let's take a look at the interior of the case. Again, this side panel door here, easily removable with these latches. And the white version comes with this side panel window. It also comes with a replaceable mesh window. The black and gray version comes with just the mesh. Here's a look again at the inside. So there's your motherboard tray, as we saw from the rear angle on the other case. There's your CPU backplate cutout and all of your grommets. Here at the back of the case, we have our PCI slots, all 8 of those, and again, each of these is mounted with a black thumb screw. Your motherboard tray is already pre-mounted with a bunch of black motherboard standoffs. It's got this little nub one right there in the middle. That will keep your motherboard situated once you first drop it in and make it easier to bolt in all of your other thumb screws. Down here at the bottom is our power supply mount, and the power supply mount, depending on the size of your power supply, has this little bracket to hold it in place. Again, thumb screws hold that on, and you can adjust it further closer or further away depending on the size of your power supply to make sure that's secure. The one cable that I didn't show you in the other shot for your front panel connectors is this one right here. This is a USB 3.0 pass-through cable, and that will enable your USB 3.0 port on the front. If you have a motherboard that has a 20-pin USB 3.0 motherboard connector, and you want a little trick to use this with your motherboard, you can get something like this. This is sold separately, or it might come with your motherboard. It could either be a 3.5-inch bracket for the front of your case, or sometimes they come with a PCI bracket for the back of the case. You can take your motherboard pass-through cable, you can plug it into that, and then you can route that over to your 20-pin motherboard connector. So a little workaround if you're not into the USB 3.0 pass-through. Next up, we have our 5 1/4-inch bays up here. Once again, there are 4 of them, and all of them have a toolless mounting system. Just push and pull to lock those drives in. Oh, I also like to show this stuff, because when you're removing 5 1/4-inch front panels, that can often be kind of a pain depending on your case. This just has a couple prongs right there that you squeeze to pop those off or back on quite easily, just like that. Next up, we have our 3.5-inch cages. There are 2 cages. Each of them holds 3 drives. All the drives mount on these little racks like this. They go around the drive, so if you have a 3.5-inch drive, it uses those mounting points right there. If you have a 2.5-inch drive, you can also mount it using these mounted holes, and every single one of those can fit either a 3.5-inch or a 2.5-inch drive. This upper cage is also removable. So again, we have a couple thumb screws here, which I'm going to quickly remove. And you can easily slide this drive cage out. That will provide you either some extra airflow straight through here to your video cards, or if you have a super duper long video card, because this case is already very wide to support long video cards, that can give you a little bit of extra room. The drive cage can also be remounted right there at the bottom of the case, assuming that you drop it in correctly, of course. It snaps into place, and then you can secure it with these thumb screws. That way you don't lose any of your drive bays there if you want to go with this orientation for the case. And lastly, let's talk about some accessories. First off, you have a couple keys. That is for that barrel lock that I showed you at the very top of the case. Locking that will secure your side panel right here, so it can't be opened and people can't steal anything out of your case. You also get a little grouping of zip ties. Those are zip ties to use for cable management. You get some additional screws. These are for mounting case fans. Those have little rubberized grommets with them, so you can reduce the vibration, keep your case nice and quiet. Here are your screws for screws and motherboard standoffs, I should say. There's a few extras in there, and those are used to mount your motherboard as well as your drives into the case. we have some documentation. The black and white fold-out 600T manual. It tells you what's included, has a little exploded view of the case there, and some basic instructions on computer installation. You get a Corsair Solutions Guide with some additional Corsair stuff that you might be interested in, and a warning here that Corsair would like to work directly with you. If you have any problems with the case, you can contact them for RMA service or that sort of thing. Finally, one last bit of accessory here. This only comes with the white version of the case. What else is in there? Oh yes, we have screws. Only comes with the white version of the case. Additional screws here for mounting 120 millimeter fans to this mesh side panel. But for the white version of the case, you get the option. You can use the windowed side panel, or you can remove that and you can install this mesh. For the gray and black version, you just get this mesh side panel. And that's going to wrap it up for today's unboxing and overview. Again, this has been the Corsair Graphite Series 600T cases, the white version on my left and the gray and black version on my right. The 600T on my right also comes in a version with just a standard side panel here without a mesh side, so keep an eye out for that one as well. One last tidbit of information for those of you guys out there. I often get asked what case I personally use at home, and the answer is, for now at least, this one right here. I do have the one without that mesh side panel, but there it is for those of you who are wondering. That's going to wrap it up for today's video. I'm Paul with Newegg TV. If you enjoyed today's video, please head over to our Newegg YouTube channel and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, and we will see you next time.